Alright guys, let's talk about stereotypes real quick. I'm not gonna get to the cut to the chase real little because I've been actually recording for a little while, for like 11 minutes or something, and I kind of ran out of things to say. So I'm gonna be talking about a certain thing that I can actually talk about for a little bit, and it's about stereotypes, or certain words that you can't really say. So let's get to the stereotypes real quick. So stereotypes, as we all know, is certain things that is apparently their beliefs or whatever. You can look it up. I don't really know the exact definition, but I do know what it is. So, stereotypes basically alludes to what a certain person does, but it doesn't apply to everyone. So, for example, if you were to say that all Asians can drive, of course, it's a stereotype. It's not meant to be taken a joke. But of course, people get really offended by it. So, for example, I have an Asian friend. I'm not gonna allude to his name on the PS4, but he knows who he is. And I said at one point that all Asians are really good at math. Now, here's the thing about this stereotype. This is a compliment of some sort that all Asians are good at math. It's a weird stereotype, but it's a stereotype that's meant to be a compliment. But apparently he gets offended by it, and it makes no sense because apparently a compliment is so offensive. And then it gets to one where it could be somewhat hurtful, where I've heard anyways that all Puerto Ricans are loud. Now, when one of my teachers actually said it before, some of the classmates who were actually Puerto Rican actually agreed on this, that they're actually really loud. Now, me myself is actually I am myself a Hispanic, and some do say that Hispanics are loud, which I can actually agree on. But this is somewhat of a hurtful kind of thing according to some Hispanics and or Latinos or whatever. It's based on how the stereotypes goes. And then there are some, like, what is it called, that are actually really offensive or some, like all gays are destroying the earth and we should end like gay marriage and whatever. Those are the really hurtful ones. But I'm not talking about stereotypes here now. I'm really talking about the type of people that are actually really stupid, aka the adults. Now I'm gonna be talking about the adults that are actually like they don't know their homework, and the ones that should be taken seriously. I'm not talking about the ones that are good at parenting. You know, they don't care if their son is gay or bi, or they don't like a certain gender or whatever. Those are the good parents. The parents I'm maybe talking about, or the adults that should be taken seriously, is the one that think that a certain race, gender, or a certain orientation shouldn't be taken seriously and should be outright banned. So, for example, there is this Ohio lawmaker. This lady said that I think it was like the forest fire was caused because of a gay marriage or violent video games or something like that. Now already she's not looking like a clown. She's looking like an entire circus because that makes no sense. That apparently gay marriage can cause a certain thing that's very horrific. So apparently when this happens, it starts riling up other adults who are watching the news or watching a certain website that involves these guys start not transferring, but like talking to their kids as well about these topics. So for example, if some adult who is very Christian, by the way, say like gays are destroying Christianity or something, then those adults will start saying like all gays are bad and whatever. But that's the type of thing that I don't really like. There's those hardcore Christians as well. Those ones that say like gays are bad and whatever. And those Christians, they are not loved whatsoever. Because here's the thing. I'm not gonna say what orientation I'm not gonna say if I'm straight, gay, or bi, or whatever, or if I'm a pan or something. But what I'm saying right now as a person is that I'm not very religious. So what I'm gonna say here is Jesus does not care if you're gay, straight, or bi, and they're going to heaven no matter of their orientation, unless if they did a really horrific event, as in murder or robbing someone. So when we get to apparently gays are not allowed in heaven and that they should change their orientation, that makes them look very bad on their end, not only at them, but also at their children. Why I say that it looks bad for the children as well is because not only is this parent or parents or their parents actually believing in that all gays should go to hell, but they're also going to be teaching their kids about why gays or people that are bi are bad people. So this starts a whole new generation of their kind still going into the future saying that gays are bad and they should be disintegrated and Thanos snaps and whatever. So I'm thinking, even though this could be a very controversial, topic, I think that whoever says that gays or bis or whatever should go to hell because of their orientation, I think they should be killed in action, just killed right there. Now here's the thing. I'm gonna be talking about the type of people that think that they don't like bis, but they do accept them. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the people that just don't want their daughter or son to be gay so they could, what is it called? Like forward their future and or generation and generations. Those are the type of people that are kind of confusing to help out or go against because they do accept the gays, but they were kind of hoping that their son and or daughter was not gay. Now, here's the thing about the daughters or the women who are actually lesbians. Now, they're not really hurtful, of course. They're not hurtful at all. They're meant to, like other women. But, of course, they can still kind of forward their generation or like have children by sperm donors, which is really helpful, of course, since they can, have kids or whatever. For males, though, it's kind of a mixed bag. So, of course, not only are you getting hate for liking another male, but you cannot give birth, of course. You don't have a certain organ and or other organs to actually give birth. So, what do? Well, of course, you adopt. Or just not have kids in general, if you don't want to have kids. So, when you adopt, it's not really seen as a good thing according to the parent that doesn't really like gays or just doesn't like people that like the same gender in general. So, I've said so many times, haven't I? Alright. And then let's talk about, like, what is it called? Those parents that didn't want to be a parent in the first place. And this is basically where the sexism comes into play. So, let's talk about moms and or dads, or people who wants to be a mom and dad. So when you actually doing intercourse, of course, you know that if you were to ever release a single sperm into a woman's genital region, that's when, baby starts getting made. But let's talk about the ones that didn't want to become a parent, which is most of the time a guy not wanting to become a dad. Now, this is mostly a kind of stereotype that all black people or black males specifically don't want to be dads, which is a really hurtful stereotype because I know some people or specifically blacks that wants to be parents. I myself want to become a dad, but of course not by force. It's my own decision. So when this is where the stereotype comes in, or not stereotype, but like sexism comes into play. When a mother or a woman specifically wants to abort a child, but the dad wants to be, well, or the guy wants to become a dad, it's apparently a really strong thing, except for, they ignore the males. But when a woman wants to become a mom, and the guy doesn't want to become a dad, then they're seen as a deadbeat, which I don't really get because they didn't want to become fathers in the first place, and that's the woman's fault for not accepting what they want to do. So now they're getting hate. The woman is getting praise for doing something that involves them aborting a child. Which also, mind you, that if you abort a child, you're basically killing them. Here's the thing: I don't support abortion, but you can do whatever you want with your body. I don't really care if you abort the child or not. I just think it's kind of hurtful in some way. But let's get back to the topic. And this is the last thing I'm going to be talking about. And it's actually certain words that I think is really stupid and that everyone should be able to say since it's all in the past. First of all, there's two words: fags and the N word. I'm not gonna say it because you guys already know what's gonna be. So I'm gonna say two sentences in this. First of all, in Britain, it actually means a cigarette, so that's one word. And another thing, it's like the least threatening, offensive word ever, and it shouldn't be taken seriously. Since of course, I'm pretty sure we all heard it on Black Ops 1 and 2, where we got called, we keep getting called a faggot, and well, apparently the 12-year-old kid had sex with my mom, but my dad will get to that later. So, and then we get to the hard R, which is one of the most controversial topic, and of course, apparently no one else is supposed to say it except for the black people, because of slavery. Now, I'm gonna be talking about this for a second. If you say that you cannot say this certain word or another certain word because of the past, that is the weakest point ever, and you are not going to be taken seriously in my eyes. Yes, it is a very controversial topic, and yes, white people did say it in the Civil War or World War One, whatever, and they say to the slaves the N word, and then nowadays the black people are actually saying it as a welcoming kind of term. How come other races cannot say it, but only the black people? I don't get that. If you were to actually say the regular one, the regular N word, the one with the A, not the R, then that to me alludes that you're saying it in a not really a harmful or threatening way. Of course, there are certain ways of saying that specific word threatening, but most of the time it's mostly the hard R that is used as a threatening way, not the other N word. So, when you actually say the hard R, no matter what, you're apparently a bad person. So, not only do you look like a bad person, but you look like a piece of shit too. And that does not look good to anyone's eyes apparently, since it's 2019. Also, it doesn't matter what words it is. You cannot keep saying it because of freedom of speech. Now you just look like a piece of shit. Because you cannot just say it because of freedom of speech. You just look bad now. And you're making yourself look like not a circus, but you look like the entire clown. And yeah, doesn't matter what you say. Either we can all say it, or no one can say it at all. Yes, that is an iDubbbz reference, and I do agree on his part that there should be no censorship when it comes to a certain word that only one specific race or another specific race can only say. It's just stupid, and I don't get why it's only a black thing or a gay thing or whatever. Of course, I'm not gonna say that I'm gay, straight, or bi. I'm not gonna say what I am. You can say what I am, and it doesn't really matter. But the matter of fact is, just don't get offended. You get offended so easily nowadays to the point where you think that if you were to make a nether portal the wrong way, it's apparently offensive to the Minecraft community. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.